Hello and welcome to the Indian Community Podcast. I'm your host Amit Gupta, and today on the show we have Dr. Jay Goyal, one of India's leading Lasik and cataract surgeons, and also the director of Surya Eye Institute in Mumbai, a center that's been transforming eye care for over 40 years now. With over 15,000 cataract and 5,000 LASIK procedures under his belt, Dr. Jay is known not just for his surgical precision, but also for bringing world class technology to India. From bladeless LASIK to robotic surgeries. Yes, I said robotic surgery, so we'll talk about that. He is pioneering the future of vision care in India. So let's dive into the world of eye health. Let's burst some myths, understand the machines that he's using, and what makes great care truly premium, right? So, Dr. Jay, welcome to the Indian Community Podcast.
Hi Amit, how are you? Fantastic to be here. A very good evening to your audience in India and a very good morning to your audience in the States. And thank you for having me here.
Excellent. So, we are so delighted to have you on board. So, let's dive straight into something that sounds so futuristic, bladeless. Robotic eye surgery. I'm so surprised when I was reading those terms, and I think when people read that, they're like, is a robot going to do my eye surgery? If
This is
it's
a common question.
bladeless, what do you mean? Is it going to be like disappearing and everything? So can you please break it down, make it simple for the
Sure.
common public like us? So what exactly is bladeless LASIK, and where does this robotic technology fit into?
Okay. So, as we all know, LASIK is essentially laser in situ uh, keratomeliosis, meaning in the eye you make a flap, you lift the flap
Mhm.
up, do the laser, and put the flap back. Now, the
Okay.
process of making the flap and putting the flap back is the single most important event in the eye. Now, for the past 35 years, this flap has been made by using something called as a microkeratome, which is an actual blade. The
Okay.
problem is the microkeratome is like you go to a mall and you ask for a shirt. Now, you
Hmm.
may be a size 41.2, but you will have to
Hmm.
settle for a 40 or a 42. You will not have a choice.
Right.
Correct. Now, if you do that in the eye, it can cause complications, it can cause issues, it can also cause loss in the quality of vision.
Okay.
Now, because there are just standard sizes of a flap which I can make through a blade, I cannot go beyond that.
Hmm.
Now, in 2005, US FDA approved something called as a femtosecond laser. Now, femtosecond laser essentially is something called as a bladeless LASIK. What it does is
Hmm.
that it uses light technology to create micro bursts in the eye, and that is what creates a flap. So now the flap is completely bladeless. Okay, and the best part is I can customize the flap, the size, the diameter, the shape, the uh the hinge position. I can make it 8.1, 8.2, 9, 6.1, 7.2, depending on what I want, depending on what I feel the patient is suitable for. I can customize it in any particular way. Secondly, blade was a process which was start stop. There was no in between, meaning let's assume there is a power failure or the blade stops
Hmm.
working. There have been times, I mean, very, very rare, but there have been times when the blade has just gone half and stopped working and we are stuck and we really cannot do anything. Now, in this femtosecond, because we don't use a blade, we actually use light. We have complete control over the machine from start to end. We can abort at any point of time if we feel that things are not going in our way. And the best
Hmm.
thing is this has zero complications. And
That's
by
nice.
zero, I mean zero. Meaning The worst case scenario happens, you move your head and you say, I'm not getting this done, just let me go home. Your eye is normal, we have done nothing to your eye. So that is why
Interesting.
in developed countries like Singapore, UK, US, Europe, this has
Hmm.
replaced microkeratome completely.
Oh.
In India, because cost is a factor, we offer
Hmm.
both. But fortunately, in urban places like Mumbai, Nagpur, Delhi, Bangalore, Indore, people are still pretty conscious and people don't mind spending that extra money because safety is many, many, many fold in a bladeless as compared to a blade. And obviously, the quality of vision is better. And the best part is healing takes a maximum of 24 to 48 hours.
Oh.
So these things have really changed the way that we look at a LASIK, the way that we do a LASIK, and the confidence of doctors and patients has almost like skyrocketed. So I
That's
would
great.
say a femtosecond laser is definitely a game changer in my field since it has come. The results are fantastic. And just to tell you, that is something which I have got done for my own eye. So I used to have a glass of -4, and I am a paddy certified scuba diver,
Oh.
and I was bored of glasses. So finally, I got my LASIK done after like 4 years back, and trust me, it was the best decision of my life.
That is so cool.
The freedom that
So
I have is insane.
that that is really nice. In fact, I was slightly amused because there's an old saying, right? Halwai apni mithai nahi khata, but here so here I have Dr. Goyal, who has kind of gone through this himself. So is that where your robots come into play? Did you program a robot and say, okay, here is my eye, fix me? Is that
See,
is that robotic technology?
sounds very hi-fi, sounds very very high tech, but unfortunately, that is not the way it works. This is not
Okay.
AI. This is a robot. Meaning, this is something that is programmed to
Hmm.
execute things in the way that we want it to.
Okay.
It is not an AI device. It cannot think on its own.
Hmm.
It cannot damage a eye. We are in control every single time. It is just
Hmm.
that we all know we are human beings. Our accuracy is 97 percent. That is the way that we are built. But a
Hmm.
robot is 99.5% or more. The accuracy of a robot is a lot more.
Got it. Got it.
So, and the flap, we are talking of microns. The flap is like 100 microns. That is smaller than a human hair.
Oh.
Yeah, a human hair is about 90 to 120 microns. If you look at a human hair, so flap
Okay.
flap is as thin as that.
Wow.
And a femtosecond can make a flap up to the accuracy of 5 microns. Imagine 5 microns. So that
And
level of accuracy is
you
unparalleled.
and that is also so sensitive, right? So because if it's such a thin, would the term ligament be appropriate, or
Not a ligament, it
uh,
is a layer, a very thin layer.
layer, very thin layer? So the very thin layer, so it becomes even more sensitive and even more precious, right? Because
Correct.
you're dealing with something very sensitive. you,
Absolutely.
you you can grow pretty much most organs nowadays in labs, but not eyes.
You cannot. Cannot.
You cannot. No, that's interesting. You mentioned AI. So is AI also coming up in this segment? Are you seeing new technologies coming up with AI?
So you'll be surprised to know we've been using AI in the field of eye care for almost 10 years now.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So there are two kinds of AIs. One is predictive and one is generative.
Hmm.
Now, whatever AI we have these days, that is ChatGPT, all those are generative AIs.
Correct.
Meaning you ask it a question and it is able to
You
answer
respond to
that,
that.
or it
Correct.
is able to do some sort of thinking and give you option A, B, C, D.
Correct.
uh, Predictive AI is where which is used for screening, meaning I have a device where there is a normative data of 2 lakh patients stored in that.
Hmm.
Now the machine will use AI. Once you scan the patient's eye, the machine will use AI to know whether this patient is within the 95th percentile of the normative data or not.
Hmm.
So if a patient is normal, we say normal, okay, done. If the patient is not normal, that is when we subject these patients to further testings. And that is when we know, okay, he may have something wrong. We have done only A, let's do B, C, D, E.
Correct.
So that is where it has been helping us for the past 8 10 years now, in terms of predicting that who patients might be at a slightly higher risk, which patient needs something more in terms of a scanning or in terms of a test, or in what 5% patients should we go till the end to find out what might be wrong with them,
Correct.
especially in terms of so there is something called as a refractive cataract surgery, where
Hmm.
now you can make patients post cataract surgery completely spectacle free. Trust me, it is fantastic. The oldies love it.
Correct.
They're like, sir, 40 साल से स्पेक्स पहना था, अभी चश्मा नहीं पहना है. We are happiest in the world.
I know. And
Okay.
I know this personally because my dad recently went through, cataract, and now, I think he had a similar experience, and his words were, "I am seeing everything HD."
Absolutely, yes. They are over the moon. They're like, अरे डॉक्टर साहब आपने क्या कर दिया? I'm like, sir,
I know.
you are most welcome. So in this, what we do is that we use AI. The AI actually tells us what is going to be the outcome post surgery.
Hmm.
Meaning, what used to happen about 15 20 years back, maybe if your dad would have gone for a cataract surgery, say about 15 years back, what would
Mhm.
happen? साहब आपको कैटरैक्ट है. हाँ डॉक्टर साहब, आपको जो भी लगता है, जो बेस्ट लेंस है वो आप डाल दो.
Correct.
But what has happened now is that, this is something that is what a diet was about 15 years back. When you and I were young, we only knew wheat and rice.
Correct.
And if somebody was gluten intolerant, or somebody had sugar or diabetes or something, we used to still give him wheat and rice because we had no other choice.
Hmm.
Now we know, okay, there are people who are gluten intolerant, there are people who are diabetic, who cannot have rice, or there are different types of alternate diets now.
Correct.
Similarly, in the eye now, there are a plethora of options that are there in terms of a lens. Now it is never one size fits all. It is what is
Hmm.
right for that eye.
Nice.
Every So if you look at your fingers, you being a single human being, your fingerprints are not the same.
Correct.
Similarly, no every not every eye, forget patient, not every eye is the same.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So we have to collect data, we have to analyze it. That is where AI gives us a huge amount of data which we can analyze, and we can customize the cataract surgery for every single patient to ensure that the outcome is optimal. Because like you said, the patient is just bothered कि यार मेरे को क्या दिख रहा है यार. He wants
Correct.
that
Correct.
HD 4K vision. He is not bothered with what you do.
Correct.
So that is where
So,
AI has helped us tremendously.
so all this fancy technology, femtosecond laser, robotic arm, AI imaging, all of this is great. But are we saying that it also means better results for patients? Are you seeing the difference in what patients experience now versus maybe what you were seeing 5 years or 10 years ago?
200%.
Hmm.
Because what is happening now is that we are helping patients make informed decisions.
Okay.
The satisfaction levels are very high, and you know, the patient understands, okay, this is what I am getting into, these are my options, option A B C D. If I do this, this is what I get. And it is not only about options, it is also about safety. Like I told you, if I'm making a LASIK flap with a blade as compared to a femtosecond, now a femtosecond LASIK is at least 1,000 times more safe as compared to a LASIK with blade. So it is not only he is getting a better result, it is almost that he is getting a result which is very predictable.
Correct.
That is the most important thing.
That's right.
That most patients, you know, they want to be in that 99.8% bracket where they are doing very well. And that is how this robotic and AI and femtosecond machines have helped us push more patients towards that thing where they know, okay, this is what I do, and by tomorrow I will be very well. And it gives us that confidence to tell them that, sir, don't worry, we are using the best in the world, you will do very well, please don't worry.
So, Dr. Goyal, this reminds me, and how we also got introduced to you when I was flying into India sometime last year, right? We had a stopover in Dubai,
Okay.
and that's when I met a family who said, we're going to India, we're going to Surya Eyecare, and batu batu mein, okay, what what's happening, and they said that we are going there for LASIK. So I was a little, surprised. I said, okay, you're in Dubai, such a beautiful city, very high tech, and all of that, right? Even cops are driving, fancy cars out there.
I know.
So uh, I was surprised that people from the Middle East and Europe are looking at India and the East, right? Uh, so what is it that is bringing them, and uh, specifically at Surya Eye Care, right? How are you actually making sure that people who are coming in from these countries understand what they're going to be, getting over here, right? And what brings them, so what is that value that they are getting?
Okay. This question would be answered in 2 points. First and
Hmm.
first point is the experience. What in Dubai, the number of surgeries a surgeon would do in a year, I would probably do that here in a month.
Okay.
So the kind of the volume that we do in India is vastly much bigger as compared to what they would do in any other country in the world. Second, in India, because of our socio-economic things, we see patients across all spectrum, right from the poorest who would probably not bother and his eye would be in a very bad condition, to somebody
Hmm.
who is not necessarily rich but somebody who is well educated, well informed, who would come at the first uh, sight of his eye being red. So I have seen the whole spectrum.
Correct.
Secondly, also, India has now become a place where surgeons like me are willing to take a risk and willing to offer something called as a premium eye care. Now,
Okay.
you have to understand, uh, uh, when I talk about premium eye care, you'll be surprised by my definition. It is not about, you know, a good waiting lounge or smiling staff or a fresh coffee. That is something that
Hmm.
anybody can do. When we talk about premium eye care, we are talking about something that one size does not fit all. You know, like
Hmm.
I told you that we have fingerprints and the same, that no two eyes of the same person is the same.
Hmm.
Similarly, you know, a premium eye care essentially is care that is just not personalized for every eye, every patient. It is personalized for every eye.
Okay.
And what we have done is that we have combined our years of experience with the latest technology to ensure that every single patient has the safest outcomes with the clearest vision, which they can enjoy for the rest of their life. So it is not, just that patients are coming to me because they know that we are, that not only we have a huge number of cases in our cases done, and we have been there and done that. It is also that we are able to offer them the safest and the best technology in the world, and we are able to give them options that are customized and unique to them, which not many places are doing. Because
So
I
your definition of premium is the personalization
Yes,
of care. Okay.
yes,
But
personalization.
I would still assume that there is still smiling staff, premium lounge, all those
That's a
facilities still
given.
exist.
That's a given. So I am one of the few centers in Bombay to offer a fresh bean coffee to every patient. So
ठीक
that's a given. But the definition is I care that is customized for you. That no, we give you extra time, we take
है.
extra care to ensure that the vision that you have. Because see, you to understand, cataract, LASIK, these are once in a lifetime things. You cannot do it after 2 years,
Correct,
3 years.
correct,
You
correct,
you just do it once in your life, and that
correct,
once in your life what you've done is going to be there with you for the next 20, 30, 40 years.
correct,
So I want you to enjoy the vision and say, अरे यार wow, क्या दिख रहा है मेरे को, I'm so happy.
correct.
That is the kind of uh, that is my reward when my patients say, doc, wow, we are seeing fantastic, thank you.
So just to summarize, right? So here we are talking, when you talk about premium eye care, it doesn't really mean expensive. It doesn't mean that you're not talking about all the frills. Those are table stakes. Those are going to happen anyways.
Anyway,
There's always going to be a nice, comfortable lounge for people to come in and rest, especially if they're traveling from far,
correct,
right?
correct.
And Mumbai traffic, we all know, it's famous, just like New York or Atlanta or anywhere in the world, right? Traffic is worse everywhere in the world. So a comfortable lounge is there for sure. You just mentioned fresh bean coffee, so which is nice. And then the staff is going to be smiling. All
Absolutely.
of that is table stakes. That's not what your definition of premium. Your definition of premium is the comfort and the personalized care that is given to that specific eye,
Perfect.
right? So because both of my eyes could require
Different
different treatments.
technologies also sometimes.
Oh, yes, yes. So, considering people in Dubai or Nairobi who are watching this episode right now, what would you say is the typical patient journey, right? So, if they contact you, uh, how long do they need to be in India? What's that process, right? So, initial consult to actual surgery and then recovery. So, what does that typical timeline look like?
Sure. So, see, I am I make sure that I take out time in a week once or twice to get on a Zoom call with patients who want to come here, because it is
Mhm.
very important for the patient to have that comfort.
Correct.
You just cannot travel without knowing what you're going to go through, and it is always better to set up expectations before you expect somebody to actually travel.
Mhm.
So the patient would ideally contact my staff. My staff would ask them to send, if they have done any local checkups or local reports or something, maybe new or
Mhm.
old or whatever. My staff would ask them to have it sent via a WhatsApp or a mail. I would go through that, and then I would probably give them a 15-minute slot on Zoom where we could just get to know as to what they want, and what the kind of vision is, and what uh, their kind of expectations are, and whether I am the right kind of person for that kind of surgery or not.
Okay.
Because there are patients who sometimes contact us saying, no, I have a cross eye, a squint eye. And then
Hmm.
I tell them, sir, I have a part of my teammate who can do that, but Dr. Jay Goel does not necessarily do that. Are you okay with that? So those kind of things, once it is done,
Hmm.
then trust me, the process is very easy. They need to be in India for a maximum of 3 to 4 days.
Okay.
So they come on, suppose they land on a Tuesday night, they show me on a Wednesday, we do the cataract or the LASIK on Thursday, they show me on
Hmm.
a Friday and Saturday, they can fly back.
Nice. Okay.
Because like I told you, we are using bladeless technology, we use a femtosecond laser. The wound heals within 24 to 48 hours maximum.
And while they are there in India, are they able to do everything like? Because if you're coming to India, you're going to shop, you're going to eat at all the fancy restaurants. Are
Absolutely.
they able to do all of that also?
Yes. So suppose you get your cataract surgery done on Thursday morning.
Hmm.
Thursday night, you can go for a dinner, absolutely no issues.
That's cool. So the same day, people are able to go around and get their life back.
Yes, yes.
That is very good. That's very powerful.
So that is
Especially,
that
you
works.
know, especially because when we are traveling from the US, sometimes we have such a limited time on our hand, right?
Correct.
So if something like this is quick and you're able to come in, get things done, and move on with your life, right?
There's
Because you come to India,
about US patients that I would like to mention, if you don't mind.
please go ahead.
I have a lot of patients from US who, they are here typically in December and Jan for a month.
Correct, correct,
And the commonest mistake everybody makes is that they come to me towards the end of the journey saying, we have a flight day after tomorrow. Can you please do a LASIK today?
correct,
So I would request all of those in the states who are seeing this, please contact me at least a week prior. Give me some time. I may not have slots, or your travel might be too close, and it is that, every patient would want to travel with comfort. Okay, I'm fine, I'm seeing well now. That process
correct,
usually takes at least 48 hours.
correct,
So it
correct,
would be ideal if they could come to me when they land during the first week of their year, or at least,
Mhm.
in the last few days, so we are able to help them. Because many patients have said, okay sir, we're sorry, we don't have time this time, let us try next time, because they come in the last 1 or 2
Correct, correct. Absolutely, I think it makes sense. And every time I've come to India, it is the same period, December and Jan. And when we have to go back in Jan, that's when, oh, let us do this, let us do
Correct,
this.
correct. Yeah,
So those things happen. So it makes sense. First, come to Mumbai, see you, get the procedure done, and then go enjoy India. Right?
absolutely, absolutely.
Correct. So let's address the elephant in the room, which is the cost, right?
Okay.
Typically, I've heard people say 20,000 रुपए में LASIK, 20,000 rupees LASIK, right? And then somebody is going to say the LASIK is going to cost you 1 lakh or even more, right? So there is a wide spectrum of LASIK price, which at the end of the day is causing confusion to patients, right? So they are not able to understand why is this for 20,000, why is this for 1 lakh. So how should a patient really understand this number and take that decision, because it is very complex, right? We are not experts, you're the expert, so please can you shed some light on that?
I will start with the analogy. If you
Okay.
and I both have a knife,
Hmm.
I take pains to sharpen my knife every day, and you are not bothered. At the end of 1 year, in spite of us having the same make of knife, who will have
Hmm.
a result that is better?
Obviously your knife would be better, my knife would be better at giving somebody septic, but
So, similarly, it is very easy to buy a machine. It is actually the maintenance and the actual, these machines have to be calibrated. they have to
Mm-hmm.
maintain. That is where you have to spend a lot of money and a lot of labor and a lot of time, and the results are completely dependent on how well a machine is maintained, machine is calibrated. That is what makes the results vastly different. And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, most of the places where the LASIKs are offered at a very cheap price or a lower price, they are usually machines that are either end of life, or
Mm-hmm.
they don't bother about regular maintenance and regular calibration, or there are machines that are using older technology.
Correct. So even if the name of the machine sounds similar, the technology, the underlying technology could be, much older.
Even if the machine and the technology is exactly the same,
Oh,
the results can vary massively if the machine is not well serviced, not well maintained, and not well calibrated.
and what about the actual doctor's experience, right? So how is that
that
factored in?
that of course makes a huge difference. That is of course a huge factor, but I'm just saying, let's assume it is a complete newbie.
Mm-hmm.
Even I wouldn't do very well with a machine that is not well calibrated, because beyond the limit, my skills will also not be able to compensate for a machine that is not able to do a laser in the right way.
Correct. Correct.
And trust me, we are talking about microns, we are talking about things which are precise, we're talking about, I mean, you won't believe, a number of -1 is only 13 microns.
Mm.
Now imagine, if I have to correct a number of -2, I'm correcting 26 microns. Now, in a machine that is well calibrated, the tolerance is 2 microns. मीनिंग 26 का 24 चलेगा, 26 का 28 चलेगा, उसके आगे हुआ तो मशीन हैज टू बी recalibrated, end of matter. Now if this tolerance becomes 5, पेशेंट का नंबर रह जाता है.
Got it.
That is where the difficulty comes, and to calibrate them, to maintain them, is a huge expense. It is expensive.
Makes sense.
So we are ensuring results, but people have to understand. I mean, it is the world. I mean, that is something which people all over the world know, and that is something which our fathers taught us. Ki sasta roye bar bar, or
महंगा रोए एक बार, right? Correct.
so like I told you, cataract LASIK is once in a lifetime procedure. So it is always better. I mean, not everybody is blessed with a lot of money, that is the fact of life.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever you can afford, get the best of that what you can, to ensure that whatever future you are having of 20, 30, 40 years, you live those in peace with a good quality of vision.
Correct. So, Dr. Goyal, having performed 20,000 procedures, right? That means you interacted with so many people. You learned so much, not just about the surgeries, but even of about the people that you met. So, what was that one major takeaway? So many people that you meet every day. Like me and my colleague Rahul. Rahul is not on this call today, but whenever we meet people, there's so much that we learn about you know their line of work. Now when you meet so many patients, what is that one lesson that you were able to bring back into your life?
Uh, the one lesson that I have been able to learn over time is that, uh, you know uh, every human being, every eye is not the same, And for every patient, the planning has to start from scratch.
Okay.
You have to always hit zero. You just cannot say, okay, you know what, I've been there, done that, let me just go ahead. And that is where it bites you really bad. The moment you take an eye for granted, the eye will bite you back. Every eye demands attention, demands love, demands care, demands precision, and you have to ensure that it is given to every single eye. You cannot relax and say, you know what, किया है, अभी ठीक है यार. No, that is not the way it works.
So, Dr. Goel, everything that you said is reminding me of growing up in Mumbai and being familiar with the god of cricket, Mr. Sachin Tendulkar, and I'll tell you why I'm thinking this, right?
Okay.
So, Sachin Tendulkar used to bat with a bat which had an MRF sticker on it, if
Yes.
you remember. Do
Yes.
you remember that, right?
Absolutely.
And so he's the god of cricket with a very beautiful bat with that sticker. I went to the market, I saw a bat and I bought it. It had the MRF sticker.
Okay.
Yeah, I go out to bat and I strike the ball. It doesn't go for a boundary. It doesn't go for a six, right? Like how Sachin Tendulkar does, right? So going back to that analogy with everything that you said, there may be a similar looking, similar sounding machinery out there, right? With similar naming conventions, but I'm sure Sachin was using a really nice Kashmir willow bat, right? Versus me buying something locally, which had a sticker on top of it. We don't know who is the manufacturer or anything, right? So the difference in equipment can happen. Even if I had the same bat,
Yes.
let's assume if I had the same bat, I don't have the experience of what Sachin has,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Sachin, the amount of time that he has spent on the ground practicing his profession, right? That is also what made Sachin Sachin. So, going with everything that you said, so it's the equipment, the maintenance of the equipment, the experience of the doctor, the amount of patients that he sees, all of that collectively together is what makes that premium eye care a reality. So everything we were saying, I was reminded of that episode. I remember buying one MRF bat and
I would want to
expecting me to be
add one thing to it.
yes.
As per you, which is the best form of cricket?
According to me,
Yeah.
now
I
I
mean,
played on my
in general.
phone.
In general, if
In
I mean,
general, I
I
think
consider Test cricket
I
as
think
one of the.
Test cricket,
Yes.
correct?
Okay. Okay.
Yes, yes,
Now, if you look at Test cricket, a batsman who can leave the ball correctly is one of the most successful batsmen, right?
correct.
It
Well
is the,
left
it is the
was the
art
right
of
word.
leaving the ball.
Well left was the term we used to
Absolutely.
say.
Similarly, my father taught me 15 years back that as a surgeon, you should know when not to operate. That's a skill that comes only with experience. That you
Since
need.
you mentioned your dad, Dr. Vinod Goyal,
Yes.
correct? Can you tell us a little bit about him? Growing up with him, he's like a celebrity, surgeon in Mumbai. Almost everybody knows him. So growing up under his shadow and learning from the best of the best, right? What was your experience like?
I've been very fortunate that he has you know he has never tried to overshadow me. He has, I mean, it is like, you go to a jungle and you see the small trees growing under the shade of a tree.
Correct,
So those small trees have a chance to grow also, and they are not hit by the harsh light of the sun also, and they are
correct,
they are protected from the harsh rain also. So that's
correct.
exactly how he has been. He has let me grow. He has let me. He has let me acquire skills over time. He has let me see patients, and he has given me a lot of knowledge transfer. He has taught me a lot of scenarios. I mean,
Mhm.
he has been probably one of the most important gurus in my life that I can have. And I'm very very proud that, I'm very proud and very fortunate, blessed, that I have a father like him, who in spite of his immense stature has never overshadowed me. He has given me my own space, which I think is very rare.
That's beautiful. So typically, students would go to medical school for what, 7 years, 7, 8 years in India,
Yeah, so it is 5 plus 6.5.
6.5, right? You must have been for what, 30, 40. You're still in school, because if you look at your dad, he's always your coach, and so in that sense, you're always learning
Yes.
from the best, right?
Correct,
So
correct, correct. Yeah, correct.
great. So what, as an eye surgeon, you meet so many people. What is that one thing that you expect people to know better, right? uh, you wish if people knew this, their lives would be so much better, our lives would be so much better, right? So what is that one thing that you think that people should really know about eye care?
The one thing, sadly, which very few people, including educated people, know is that most of the eye conditions
Hmm.
are silent thieves of vision, and patients often come to us once they have lost vision.
Oh,
Now, whether it is diabetic retinopathy, whether it is glaucoma, whether it is cataract, whether it is any other eye disease, it is ARMD, often people come to us once they start having a problem. Just a simple eye checkup once in a year,
hmm,
irrespective whether you have a problem or not, can save countless people from problems like loss of vision and going blind, and plenty of problems can be solved by just getting a normal checkup done once in a year. You have
correct.
no idea how many people I get today. I mean, of course, in the past 10 years, lot of people, I'm very happy to say, they come to me saying, sir, ab kyun aaye ho? No sir, we have just come for a normal eye check. And that makes me
Mhm.
so happy that people, I mean, I have always believed, give it one day and let them work the next 364.
Going back to your example of sharpening the knives, right? So this is something similar here. You are basically saying, making sure that you're on top of your game. You have to keep doing regular checkups.
Yes, yes. I mean,
Correct,
kids, you
correct.
won't believe there are kids who come to us at the age of 10, and they have a number of -4. And if
Hmm.
this kid would have come to us at the age of 5 or 6, we could have prevented that -4 number from coming.
Correct, correct. So this is actually a practice here in the West, right? So we will take our kids every year to the eye doctor, and once a year there's an annual checkup
Okay.
with an eye doctor, with the dentist. You do a full body checkup once a year, right? So in fact, a lot of it is also because the way insurance policies are structured, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
they say that this is covered, and they encourage you to actually use it. So I
Right.
think they're also going with the same logic that you had, that if you were to catch it early, a stitch in time is going to save nine, right?
Absolutely. That is put very well. A station time saves 9. I mean,
Okay.
in India, there are few schools, who have started sporadic eye checkups here and there, and they ask parents to make sure their kids have got an eye checkup done. But they're very far and few. I mean,
Hmm.
there is just no structure to it.
Correct, correct. So I think that is an awareness campaign that we should all collectively put together. We would love to work with you and your team to see how this can be promoted more often, and reminded, right? So people
Absolutely.
need reminders to, because this becomes a habit over a period of time,
Correct.
right? It will
Correct.
take some time for people to actually develop this as a good habit.
True. True.
Dr. Goyal, you've given us so much of your time, but before we go, there's one important question, and you briefly touched upon it. So I'm going to, try and sneak that question.
Go on.
Um, we couldn't get into that topic, but I know it's very close to your heart. Last time we spoke, you had mentioned that, which is the rising wave of myopia in children,
Yeah.
right? Every child is on the screen, uh, you know PUBG, Roblox, Minecraft. I don't have problems with those apps. They're wonderful games. I enjoy them a lot. But with the kids, the screens are everywhere, right? Um they've got a screen in their hand, they've got a screen in their car, they've got screens at home, everywhere, right? And outdoor time is also shrinking, where very different lifestyles,
Absolutely.
people are living
Absolutely.
very different lifestyles. So uh, I remember you called that this is the silent epidemic.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about this, and why this is happening, and what should parents be doing so that their kids are not, in those age brackets like 20, 30, and now they're thinking of mujhe LASIK karana hai. So how can we avoid people finding themselves in those positions?
Okay. I'll start by some stats. Uh, so, globally, the incidence of myopia has shot up tremendously. I mean, let's
Mhm.
talk about India. In India in 1999, 4.5% of the urban children had myopia. This has increased to 21.5% by 2019, and by 2035 this will become 36%
36% of urban
of
children have
have
myopia.
will have glasses. Yes,
Oh my God, that's like
it's an
one in
epidemic.
three.
It's an
That's one in three.
correct. And the major contributing factors are increased screen time.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not a screen, it is doing anything at this distance. This
Mm-hmm.
distance. So increased screen time, like you very rightly put it, lack of outdoor activities.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, यार आप और मैंने धूप धूप में पूरे पूरे दिन खेला है यार. मतलब मम्मी बोलती थी अरे बेटा घर आ जा अभी हो गया.
Correct. Correct.
And these kids don't want to go out of the house only.
Hmm.
And there are sometimes parents are, beta, it is too hot, abhi mat ja, sham mein ja. So it is,
Hmm.
it is a mixture of that.
Correct.
Also, there's a lot of academic pressure that kids have now. So much of
Mm-hmm.
competition, beta, padhai karo, beta, classes jao. I mean, I typically think, I ask some parents कि आपका बच्चा पूरा दिन क्या करता है.
Mm-hmm.
नहीं, सुबह 8 बजे स्कूल जाता है, दो
Right.
बजे आता है, then 3 to 5 they have tuition, then they come back at 6, and 6 to 7 they go to play down. I'm like, can you swap the playing and the tuition? Can the kid play from 3 to 5 or 4 to 6 and then go to tuition from 6 to 8?
Mm-hmm.
At least he will get some sunlight, he will get some exposure. नहीं सर, वो फिर वो क्लासेस चेंज करने पड़ेंगे, और वो टाइम पे ना कोई आता नहीं है खेलने के लिए.
Correct.
So everybody, has gone into that thing where they are into academics. I mean, third, fourth standard kids are going to tuition for 2 hours a day, and I'm wondering why. And very important thing is genetic predisposition. If parents have glasses, the child has a very high probability of having glasses.
Okay.
So that is also where kids, I mean, parents who are wearing glasses now and who have children, they also should get a checkup done from that point of view, that the kids already may have glasses.
Correct.
And fifth most important point is the kind of food that we are eating. The kids that The kids these days that we are seeing are not obese, but they are slightly on the healthier side because of
Sugar intake be high है.
sugar
Yeah.
intake hai, junk food
Mhm.
hai, eating habits aren't good,
Mhm.
you know,
Correct.
and uh, obesity has been linked to increased incidence of myopia also. So these are a few factors that are causing our especially urban children to wear glasses.
Got it.
And it is not just about wearing glasses. You have to understand, beyond the power of -3, -4, retina gets thinned out. And that is where they can have serious problems like retina detachment, they can have glaucoma, they can have a lot of other issues. It is not that कि चश्मा है, ठीक है चश्मा हमको चलेगा, लेजर करा लेंगे, that is fine. That is not the way it works. It
Mm. You
can
can't throw money and on everything, right?
it can
Mm.
hamper the child's life in the future also.
Correct. Absolutely. Oh, this is great. I think that's definitely a subject we would love to talk to you again about. Thoda detail में जाएंगे. We'll talk about what parents should be doing and learning from your experience. But overall, I really had fun. I
Same
enjoyed
here.
this conversation, Dr. Goyal.
Same here.
Um, uh, some uh, great learnings, and I think it is important for each one of us to kind of make a pledge to make sure that we see an eye doctor once a year. And even if you have got a LASIK done, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't go to an eye doctor. Uh,
Absolutely.
that's another
Absolutely.
thing. I had read this some time back.
You won't believe I have had kids as young as 1 year old having dry eye because
Wow,
of excess screen time.
correct. नहीं, I know what you mean. Zombie बन जाते हैं जब ये इनके हाथ में
Exactly.
स्क्रीन होते हैं, right? So
Exactly.
we'll figure that out. We'll do a kids special episode.
Sure. Sure.
We'll talk
That
about this.
that is something which is very close to my heart, because here is something where we can make a difference for somebody for the rest of their life. So I
Absolutely.
would
And we'll make sure that that conversation is for the kids, right? So that video is something that we want the kids to watch, the kids to learn and really understand what is it. So we'll tone it down, we'll simplify it, so that they know what they're going to experience if
sure,
they continue with those unhealthy habits.
sure.
But overall, I think LASIK, bladeless LASIK, AI, and robotic surgery. I've learned so much today and really enjoyed this conversation. And we're going to keep calling you back to the podcast
Most
to
welcome.
talk more about this. And when I come to Mumbai next time, I'm going to come in for that coffee. Okay.
Definitely, 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 definitely.
So you're
I would love
you're
to.
in Bandra, right? You're in Bandra, correct? And
Yes.
and do you have other locations also?
So we are located in Mulund, that is on the central side. We are located in
Hmm.
Airoli, that is uh, New Bombay, and Bandra on the western side. So we have entire we've all locations in that way. Patients from all places, whether it is western suburbs or central suburbs or Navi Mumbai, they can access us.
Definitely. And these are all good food and shopping destinations. So,
Yeah.
you should stop over at Surya Eye Care and then, go for a dinner. Of course, we'll ask you for recommendations of places.
Anytime, anytime, anytime.
ठीक है, Dr. Saab, so much.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
very
much.
much
And
for hearing me out, and thank you very much for this platform. And it was a privilege to have spent this time.
thank you so
Thank you
much,
very
sir.
much.
Thank you once again. Thank you.